Music has been a lively art in Missouri since the days of the French fiddlers. After the French came Germans and immigrants from the British Isles, all bringing their own folk songs, hymns, and ballads. Songs of homesickness and faith and hope. African field hollers, spirituals, work songs, gospel, and church choirs followed. Classical music thrived as well. In 1881, Missourians listened to the St. Louis Choral Society, which became the St. Louis Symphony, second oldest of the nation's major orchestras. Traditions were blended. Moving forces in music were born. They made us listen, told us stories, released feelings. Out of this came music that fused African rhythms with the songs of hills and prairies, a music unique to America. It was ragtime. Sedalia, Missouri was the cradle of classic ragtime, and its king was Scott Joplin. In 1904, the world came to St. Louis with the Olympics and the World's Fair. Scott Joplin was there too. His music was vigorous and exciting. Joplin's Cascades Rag celebrated the Cascade Gardens at the fair, the electric-lit watercourse with falls, fountains, and rapids, a spectacle described in music. America looked outward, for this was the progressive era, and the music reflected the times. This was American music, made in Missouri. World War I was over, and the mood of the country had changed. And while ragtime jingled, another kind of music was heard in the river towns and hills of rural Missouri.
Me, my gal walks down the street, singing
The lyrics spoke of the loss of love, the burden of hard work, and pain of poverty. The soft, sad songs with their bent notes floated up the Mississippi and into Missouri towns. They were the blues. The music flourished in dance halls, juke joints, and bars. Echoes of human voices putting feelings into song. The blues, along with boogie-woogie and all that came before, were chemistry in the birth of jazz. One Missouri man who put it all together was Jess Stacy of Cape Girardeau. He played piano on the riverboats in 1920 and carried his clean, incisive style to the Benny Goodman and Tommy Dorsey bands. Big band swing. Music of another kind had been heard in the Ozark Highlands of Missouri for more than 200 years. Its roots were gospel, blues, bluegrass, old-time music, and railroad ballads. It became country music.
Once again, it's hi there, and welcome to television's #1 country music show, the Ozark Jubilee in Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield was home to the nationally broadcast Ozark Jubilee, hosted by Red Foley. And the show spawned a talented roster of performers, such as Porter Wagoner and Ferlin Husky. Country music. It was strongly influenced by the blues.
You told me you loved me. Every word was true.
Blues guitarist Albert King played St. Louis with a clear, forceful sound that brought the blues up to date and gave it a different kind of stature. Playing a concert with the St. Louis Symphony. The blues and country music. More music made in Missouri. On the other side of the state, Kansas City was home to blues-based, riff-centered jazz. There was Count Basie with his dabbing left hand and eloquent right. He got his start in Kansas City with Benny Moten's band, as did Lester Young, whose way of improvising helped to galvanize modern jazz, and his soft sound inspired the post-war cool school. Another innovator of the KC sound was Mary Lou Williams, one of the first women to help influence jazz. Coleman Hawkins, born in St. Joseph, laid the foundation for a tenor sax approach for John Coltrane and other young performers of today. Then there was the bluesy, unpredictable, searing intensity of Charlie Bird Parker's alto sax. The Bird, founder of bebop. And the trumpet, the warm, inventive trumpet of Miles Davis. A disciple of Charlie Parker, Miles Davis emerged as a major influence in modern jazz, nurturing young talent and evolving on his own. He had a profound effect on rock. He called it fusion. But there was no stopping rock and roll, the most vital, unpredictable force in pop culture. Two St. Louisans who helped shape rock and roll and the way it was played were Johnny Johnson and Chuck Berry. Johnny through his blues and boogie piano playing, while Chuck through his signature guitar work.
1, 2, 3.
He melded blues, country, and witty lyrics about young love and fast cars. The heritage of ragtime, blues, jazz, and country still lives in rock, reflecting the mood of America, weaving itself into the fabric of our time. It is our music, made in Missouri.